Hello and welcome to the very first of our lore video series on Homestuck, a web series by one Andrew Hussey, notable for its deep, convoluted narrative and rather unique fan base. In this first episode, I would like to focus on what could be considered the core of the entire narrative of Homestuck, the enigmatic computer program known as Sburb, giving a general overview of the main points, which we can give greater depth to in later videos. As to exactly what Sburb is, computer program, a tool of unknowable enigmatic gods, or just something entirely beyond our comprehension, we do know that its purpose is to create entire new universes, possibly even whole realities. When it finds its way into a universe, it can be in any number of forms. A beta for a video game, or perhaps some obscure code found in ancient ruins and compiled into its true form by a complete idiot with a binary complex. Either way, it will find its way into the hands of premeditated teams of players, usually existing groups of friends who are in fact part of subtle, stable time loops, causing them to have somehow always been predestined to play the game in the first place due to it being responsible for their births. Yeah, in case you hadn't already worked it out, this shit is going to get really weird really quickly. So, strap in, because let's get started. With the teams of players, it is unclear how many the game will choose to spawn on a given planet, which is entirely based on how it chooses to distribute itself in this particular case. On Earth, as mentioned before, the game was a widely distributed and well-known game beta with reviews in popular magazines, suggesting that our Earth was host to dozens, if not hundreds, of potential teams of varying sizes and numbers. Meanwhile, on the troll planet of Alternia, the game only came into existence at all due to its discovery in code by two young trolls, Solix and Aradia, who we follow in the series, who compiled it into a functional computer program, meaning that the only trolls on Alternia likely to be playing the game are those that they directly involved and that we follow in the main narrative of the series. Meaning that they were, in all likelihood, the only trolls on Alternia at the time to actually survive its destruction. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, when you play Sburb, it destroys your planet. Permanently. With meteorites. Let's explain that bit. You see, it seems that when at least one team has been formed, one person on the planet has begun playing. All it takes. Well, that's when the meteor showers begin. These storms of space rocks originate from within the game itself as they are redirected from the planet of Skya, which is the focal point of the entire game, as it is on Skya that the final war between good and evil is being fought, a battle that the players must join because without them, the forces of good are destined to lose. As part of this apocalypse the game triggers for Skya once the play begins, the meteors will begin to fall towards the planet, which, as a method of self-defense, it will transport into the dimension of the players for their specific session, with the homes of the players serving as focal points for the barrages, with one major meteorite always destined to strike their home itself. The whole business mostly serves as an impetus for players entering the game world proper, a sort of very unsubtle, get the hell on with it, you lazy bastards. But before we get any further into this, we need to explore the main point I have yet to cover. How does one play Sburb? While most of it runs on your general household computer, the game must be played with two programs, one that serves to make you the client player, while the other makes you into a server player. Two roles that the game requires in order to be played successfully, meaning games must have a minimum of two players, with each player serving as the other's server player. The role of the server player is to assist their client in entering the game itself by manipulating their environment, providing assistance, and constructing the various tools that the game provides, such as the alchemeter, the totem lathe, and other bizarre and unique objects required to even succeed. Of course, most games have much more than two players, leading to a daisy chain effect, wherein the players form a line of server-to-client connections that result in the first client player becoming the final server player for the last person in the line, completing a circuit. Of all the items the server player can lay down, the most vital one is labelled as the Crux Cruder, an item which resembles a sealed canister on a pedestal. Upon being opened, generally with excessive, if gratifying levels of concussive force applied directly to the cap of the cylinder itself, the player will receive two important things. Firstly, they will receive their kernel sprite, a delightfully complex creature that will need a whole video to itself just to be explained, but for now we will summarise as a helper guide for the player in the game. The other important thing you get from the Crux Cruder is the ability to see the countdown timer for the personalised, bespoke meteorite that is even now heading directly for the top of your head with malice aforethought. It was originally thought that the act of opening the Crux Cruder was what summoned this space rock, but in truth it will be heading for you, regardless of what actions you take as soon as you begin playing the game. So, you may as well have an exact countdown to your own obliteration. Once you've opened the Crux Cruder, you will be able to complete the actions necessary to enter the medium, where most of the game takes place. You, your home, and a small slice of the surrounding terrain will be brought through into the new world, located on your personal planet. Everyone who plays Sburb gets their own planet for the early and mid-game events of their adventure as they progress through the gates. These planets are referred to as lands and often have two key defining features linked to the player's specific role in the game, as well as some relation to them as people, such as the land of wind and shade, the land of heat and clockwork, and the land of caves and silence. Populating this world will be the consort species, reptilian or amphibian biological life forms which will serve as the player's allies in this world, often to be found living under the oppression of the evil forces of the Black Monarchy and the planet's denizen. The Black Monarchs, King and Queen, rule over the forces of evil which battle on Skya that we mentioned before, leading an army themed around chess pieces against the oppositely aligned White Army using a similar theme. The forces of good and evil on Skya are something that will need an entire video to themselves, as so much of what I am covering in this video will, and you can rest assured that in the fullness of time these videos will occur. But for now, in summary, the allies and antagonists respectively of the players will be influenced by what they bring through with them, as well as what they place in their kernel sprite in a process called prototyping. This will often lead to very varied and bizarre creatures, as merely from what we've seen in the show, there are some very weird and creepy combinations that are entirely based on people's subconscious and what precisely they decide to throw into the weird glowy ball thing. But back on the subject of the worlds, through the system of gates that are in place, the players may enter each other's worlds, assist and cooperate with one another, and work towards reaching Skya for the final battle before they ultimately run out of time, and the forces of good are defeated forever. In order to proceed, the players must face their land's denizen, a horribly powerful monster that resides atop a massive pile of loot and shiny things that would like nothing more than to take the assigned player by the hand, and then the other hand, and then pull them apart like an oversized chicken wishbone. Defeating this lovely monster is the key to proceeding in your game session to reach Skya. While it is in theory possible to talk your denizen around to your way of thinking, it's not often attempted and in any case takes a special kind of player to achieve it. So often, making the straightforward boss fight route your approach is the more preferable one. By now you may well be wondering, just how are regular humans supposed to survive any of this madness? Monsters and monarchs and evil, gigantic wasp names trying to subject you to God knows what. Well, the answer comes when, as you begin to play, you are assigned three things: a moon, a class, and an aspect. When you begin to play, you will receive, or rather will always have had, due to the whole predestiny nonsense, a dream self living on one of the two moons, Prospit and Durst. Due to the predestined nature of the game, this can lead to some players being able to interact with the dream world long before the time when they come to play the game, which will often lead them to seek out the players they have seen in the dream worlds to befriend, thus assisting in the whole pre-arranged team. The team will, where possible, be split evenly between their dream selves living on Prospit and Durst, Prospit being a golden, light-filled moon that hangs close to Skya itself and serves as the seat of the White Monarchy, the Kingdom of Light. Durst, meanwhile, a purple and black moon, lies out beyond the veil of meteor barriers, out in the dead of space, serving as the home for the forces of darkness and their Black King and Queen. While it might seem inconvenient to have your spectral dream self in enemy territory right from the start, the selves of players on Durst will not be attacked by the Durstites, at least until they themselves have actively become aggressive towards the forces of darkness in the game proper. The dream selves are also best described as projections of the players as they wish to see themselves, as such disabled players will lack those disabilities in their dream selves unless they are at peace with and content with them, such as in the case of the troll girl Terezi, who remains blind in her dream self compared to the paralysed troll boy Tavros, who can actually walk in his dream self. The whole deeper use and meaning of dream selves is a much more complicated topic than we can afford to go into right now, but just to give a taste of their true use to a player, they can be used to return someone from actually being legitimately dead if they are killed playing the game, or to be used to allow players to ascend to godhood, something referred to as god tier, giving them truly insane levels of power within the game. Quite what powers you will have are dictated by the two other features that the game gives you as a player, your class and your aspect. Aspect dictates what type of power you will have, and is split into the categories of time, space, light, void, mind, heart, rage, hope, doom, life, blood, and breath. Meanwhile, your class dictates your role within the party of players as well as your role in the larger game, and is split between the titles of rogue, thief, heir, maid, page, knight, seer, mage, sylph, witch, bard, prince, muse, and lord. Armed with such tools, as well as an ever-upgrading and personalised armoury of weapons dictated by your Strife Specibus, another thing we'll get into in the players video, players must work towards their ultimate goal, the destruction of the Black Monarchs and the saving of Skya. But you may ask, what's the point when your home, your life, and everything you cared about has been blown up by this damn game, your home planet annihilated along with everyone on it who isn't also playing Sburb? What is the point of carrying on? Well, you carry on, you see. Because if you manage to win, the final reward and the true purpose of Sburb comes to light. You and your friends get to be the creators of a whole new universe. By working with their allies in the game, the players can see to the birthing of a whole new universe which they can mould into whatever image they choose, populating it with their own species once more, or integrating the species from the game, such as the consorts and the various Prospitians and Dursites if they so choose. This, as mentioned, is the true purpose of Sburb. The creation of new universes with the death of one planet creating at least one, if not hundreds of entire universes. Given the number of planets in just one universe, this is actually a pretty good trade in the grand scheme of things on the scale of a multiverse, if not on the scale of the individual species who are on each planet as it goes kaboom. As most people familiar with the source material will no doubt know, I have barely scratched the surface of this topic and the insane depth of the Homestuck lore that Andrew Hussey has created. Nevertheless, I feel that in this short video I have been able to provide enough of a general overview that you will get a feel for the ideas and themes at work here, and possibly whet your appetite to learn more. If there's a specific aspect that I've mentioned here that you'd like to see me prioritise for the next video, do leave a comment below, like and subscribe for more videos on this and other lore series. But for now, I have been Albion, and I'll see you sometime in the future. Bye for now.